Simple, an absolute weed eater throughout the entire tournament, just eating them apart.
I call Simple the god of Counter-Strike. I call him the greatest player to ever touch the game.
He's hands down the best player in the world so far this year. You know, performances in tournament wins, but also in some of the losses for Navi.
Electronic, for me, is like a good factor for Flipside going forward. You know, it's a young talent and he's explosive. He makes those impact frags and he will get those entries in.
These two players together have been so consistent over the past few months. Like, they're both just dominant.
Simple is really a good player. He's best player in the world right now. I could be better.
MIP decide to rush into the bomb site. Electronic with a good position. They line up. Oh my god! Fortunate for Electronic.
Chris will switch. He's actually going to stick to the AWP. Surprisingly, they want the double up. Set up to go for it. Oscar's down. Chris is on at the smoke.
He's going to do it.
The shot. He's done it. This is how we go. Oh! Electronic shuts him down in the last second. Completely surround him, and Tizian gets the shot. Great mid-round calls from Big, from Guppy, and now it's on to Electronic trying to isolate. Oh, himself. He reads it. He reads it.
Is this the Na'Vi era now?
Yeah.
In order to understand how Denis Electronic Sharipov went from living in the shadow of one of the greatest players CSGO has ever seen, we need to go back in time a little bit. The year is 2015, and this scrappy, stoic, stern-faced teenager is trying to make a name for himself in the mother of all Counter-Strike obsessed regions, Russia. The problem is that it's a lot more difficult than you might think. In spite of its absurdly large player base, Russia has always managed to play second fiddle to other smaller Eastern European nations. Their one and only 1.6 major was back in 2002, and the only Russian to ever earn such silverware in Global Offensive is the X-God. Needless to say, Electronic was facing a bit of an uphill climb. The only consistent championship caliber roster the CIS had ever produced was the Ukrainian super squad Natus Vincer, and he'd have to wade through a sea of talented upstarts to catch their attention.
Advantage for city players, and actually, wow, double kill by Electronics. Top! He didn't understand where is the Electronic guy, and Electronic poker face!
Still, Electronic wasn't your typical up-and-comer. He wasn't some cracked G-fueled wild child who was cutting his teeth in FPL 2 years after discovering CS. His tournament experience ran deep, given that he competed in his first 1.6 LAN at the age of 11. By 16, he boasted not only crisp mechanics and a keen game sense, but a calmness well beyond his years. Even as he squared up against some of his region's biggest names offline, he showed that he wasn't one to shy away from a fight.
Ticking, Adrian, BAM! BAM! And what a spray from Electronic! Unbelievable spray!
By the end of 2015, Electronic had gone from serving short stints on a variety of semi-professional sides to joining his first real roster, Rebels, a squad of rowdy up-and-comers who were eventually signed by Team Empire.
The man will have to clutch and ace to win. Missing that first shot, not a good start. And it's fixing Electronic, the two players to watch out for who just pop this round open.
Unfortunately, the roster wasn't particularly stable. After failing to make it to events for the better part of a year, they lost the support of their org and were forced to continue their struggle under the handle of Nuk Soon Kao. And man, was it a struggle.
Finding one more. Electronic, he's got to go towards the A site here. I don't think he has the time to do anything else. He's going to have to find these kills very, very quickly. He will manage to get the first. MSL is just waiting, and the second he goes for this plant, MSL's just going to peek out and finish off the game. Nice work from Thing that has a much more convincing win, and that was the sort of map that we expected to see from them earlier on.
And yet, in spite of his compatriots floundering, the end of 2016 saw Electronic catch the attention of Blade, one of the CIS region's greatest in-game leaders and the very mentor who not only discovered Simple, but helped turn him into one of the most explosive talents in the world.
Я был в Flipside как бы играющий тренер, поэтому все навыки по развитию индивидуального скилла своих тиммейтов, то есть как, в чем им нужно помогать, где, как находить слабые места и так далее. То есть я это все, в принципе, практиковал и во Flipside. Качественный анализ, стратегическое мышление и Наверное, опыт, знания, самое главное.
Electronic was offered a chance to follow in Simple's footsteps and bring his talents to Flipside Tactics.
There it is. Let's have a look at the frags. 15 for him. The new addition for is it Hellraiser or Flipside? I think it's
Which?
Electronic.
Electronic is new to Flipside.
That's right. He's actually been pretty cool recently.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed watching him.
And it was there with a stable squad and a sound strategist that the CIS's second son really started to shine.
So all even once again and make that equality going in favor of Big for a couple seconds before Electronic puts it in their favor. Leggy's only on 8 health, not for too much longer. Flipside will take a third.
When you can get riflers out in open space like Electronic, he's able to deliver for you. And again, he's one of those young guys we're keeping an eye on. He's one of those guys kind of in their high teens that are just coming onto the scene. And this is kind of one of those tournaments where he's trying to show you what he's made of, you know, show that he has been a great addition to Flipside. I think this has been a great roster move for them.
Funnel their way out a little bit, but still connects onto Keith, and Blade will be spraying down onto Taps and gets a second kill. Leggy has gone down, and Flipside have done it. They will take it in style, 2-0, 16-11 on both maps.
You're seeing some new talent rise up. Electronic, for me, the MVP, played a great tournament. Blade leads the team well as always.
Before long, Electronic had cemented himself as a stellar rifler.
Baiting out shots left and right. Waylander will be spotted, and Pulse finds Markov. What's happening? He gets himself a double. Electronic trades. He gets a spray down. That's insane. Flipside pick it up. They're bringing it to OT, and all off the back of Electronic going absolutely crazy.
The thing is, he didn't even need to be holding a rifle. As long as he had some kind of weapon in his hands, there was nothing he couldn't do.
And sure enough, this is JW's round. 3 kills for him. They line up for Electronic though. And a 1v2. And another one! 1v1. Olaf, he knows exactly where Electronic is playing from. Electronic, he's still got 9 bullets in the mag. And will he find the shot? The pressure is on here for Olaf Meister. And Olaf Meister, he's down to 23 HP. This is Electronic fighting for his team. And he will get the clutch at the end. Unbelievable.
Still, from the titillating one-taps to the stupidly salacious spray transfers, it was quickly becoming apparent that the CIS had stumbled upon its second greatest superstar.
But Electronic, for me, is like a good factor for Flipside going forward. You know, it's a young talent and he's explosive. He makes those impact frags and he will get those entries and win rounds like that. Something that Flipside hasn't had in the past.
Which was perfect, of course, since as everyone knows, the actual greatest was an Opper.
See, double smokes in the same place there. Simple just jumping casually into the side. He's going to fall down again. What is this trap from Simple? Are you serious? What is that? You can't do that, Simple. That's not allowed. This is not FPL. This is a major.
Given the CIS's struggles, it didn't take long for the community to start wondering if and when the rowdy rifler would finally get to join forces with Simple, who'd been struggling to carry Na'Vi. And they didn't have to wait long.
And then C's wasn't happy with his performance, so he wanted to leave the team, and now they've brought in Electronic. So in this roster now with Na'Vi, we have Electronic, Simple, Flamey, Zeus, and Edward, right?
Na'Vi had fielded one of the greatest rosters ever to play 1.6, and had spent virtually all of their time in Global Offensive trying to reignite that spark. The issue is that, aside from the org's fabled in-game leader Zeus, Simple hadn't been getting the help he so desperately deserved.
What is it about CSGO right now that you feel like you can just control it so well?
I mean, it's easy. You just need practice everything. Practice guns, practice nades, practice team play, practice everything. And you always should stay calm. You shouldn't let your emotions go up and go down. You should be on middle of this. You should have good sleep schedule, everything. You should have good teammates. I mean, when you have a great team, it's and great captain, of course, it's more easy to play for me.
Needless to say, Electronic was heralded as being the solution to Simple's problem.
When I joined to Na'Vi, it was my dream to join Na'Vi. So it's really good to play with Zeus, Simple, and yeah, I'm really happy.
The question was whether he'd be able to deliver.
Electronic still has this teething period, right? He hasn't get to play on many lands, especially at this level. In the past, it's been with Flipside, where he's been set up to be that star, or at least within a system where he gets to shine a little bit more. So here he has to share some of that limelight with the likes of Simple, who we've just touched on. The exciting thing about this Na'Vi roster is they have a lot of firepower, they have a trio, they have a core that could propel them into the top 5.
Fortunately, it didn't take long for the prospect to prove his worth to Na'Vi.
Everything's just going horribly wrong for Mouse Sports here. Seiko Last man standing on this B-bomb side, immediately dealt with by Electronic, and perhaps all he can do is hope to get really lucky through the smoke, but instead runs out of bullet the second Electronic pierced through the smoke.
After entering DreamHack Open Winter 2017 as something of an unknown quantity, the resolute Russian emerged from the first LAN he'd ever played with Na'Vi victorious.
And now starting with his UMP, maybe all that stands between Na'Vi and this entire tournament. Chris J, 1-on-4, 26 health, Sebastien in hand, and Simple takes him. Na'Vi are your champions. In an exquisite 2-0 performance, and throughout this entire event, they look strong. And Electronic had a phenomenal best of 3 there. He was super solid, but then again, you can say the same of Edward. Simple had great moments. Everyone did. Blame me as well.
Come 2018 and the year's first major in Boston, it felt as if Electronic could really be the answer to Simple's prayers. But despite dishing out stomps throughout the event, it wasn't enough.
The shadow position, he couldn't have gotten to A main. There wasn't enough time, and he would have heard him to do so. He double checks to confirm. This is smart. Electronic's going to play his own smoke against him. He's going to go exactly where he just was, so why would he check it? But he's got an inkling, he goes back! What a read from Guardian!
Has he got time? It sounds like he has Guardian done it once again and found match point. He has! 2 players remain, Zeus and Simple. Hold on to whatever they can.
Great
nice
read.
shots.
Great read from Zeus to hold off as well, because he knew CT was covered, so the vent was less likely, I should say. What a shot from Guardian, words out of my mouth, as he nails it through the box. He is tagged up. Smoke on the bomb immediately. He's got the kit. Doesn't elect to hold on to it yet. He's got time to play with, and 2 for 2, Smoke will do. It's phase to the final, and Guardian is an absolute god.
Shortly after Boston, rumors that Simple was starting to lose faith in both his roster and region at large was starting to pick up steam. The thing is, had he left, nobody would have blamed him. 2018 was the year that Simple solidified himself as the greatest competitor ever to touch CSGO, and he was looking for a roster worthy of his inhuman excellence, one with whom he could finally earn his much-coveted major title. But as far as Electronic was concerned, that roster was Na'Vi. Being the loyal homebody that he was, Simple made the fateful decision to stay. From there, it was on Electronic to make good on his guarantee, to step up, share the load, and be the right-hand man that his star fragger was in such desperate need of. And boy did he.
He's going to have to be flawless as NIP decide to rush into the bomb site. Electronic with a good position. They line up. Oh my god! That is just so fortunate for Electronic, and he's going to finish it off with class and style.
They're now on the bomb, trying to see if they can do it. Soak with a heroic save, and Ethan takes one more down. Oh my god! Last possible second. Electronic up on the high ground. He's not sure where Ethan is going to win the round. He saved them. Triple kill.
Chris will switch. He doesn't. He's actually going to stick to the AWP. Surprisingly, they want the double up setup to go for it. Oscar's down. Chris is on at the smoke.
He's going to
missed the shot.
He's going to bullets.
This is how we go. Oh! Electronic shuts him down in the last second, and we go to a double overtime situation.
My god, how is this happening?
By about midway through the year, Na'Vi had gone from consistently finishing in the top 3 to arguably the strongest roster in the world. They'd taken home trophies at 3 straight tournaments, the last of which was ESL 1 Cologne, the so-called cathedral of Counter-Strike.
They completely surround him, and Tizian gets the shot. Great mid-round calls from Big, from Guppy, and now it's on to Electronic, trying to isolate. Oh, himself! He raised it! He raised it! And an arc! A power surge right through 2! Another, but it's all done, surely, as they wrap around. Electronic fittingly finds the last kill. 16-8, Na'Vi will pick up, finally, a trophy they've been waiting for all year.
It had also become clear that Electronic didn't see himself as the second fiddle everyone made him out to be.
How do you think how good is Simple?
Simple is really a good player. He's my friend. He's best player in the world right now. I think I could be better than him in the future.
Like any world-class competitor, he yearned to call himself the best. And on literally any other roster in the world, he would be. But just not on this one. Unfortunately for Electronic, he wasn't just contemporaries with the greatest ever to play the game, he was teammates with him. Friends. Going into the year's second major in London, it felt as if Na'Vi had the star power to reclaim their 1.6 glory. The problem is that CSGO was entering its most tyrannical era to date. Come the grand finals, Na'Vi found themselves going up against the best of that era, and they never stood a chance.
That's all that's left between Astralis and the major. Simple on the high ground with the CZ, and surely he's going to get taken out. Oh, there's a gift. He could pick up an AK. This might not be over yet. There's no kit there. They've got to go fast. Simple, the second one. They have to keep going. They've got to charge forward. He misses the jump. Flamey now with the 570. He's baiting. The player on short B is red. Touching the bomb. Are they going to peek? Holding it now. And there is it. It's just down to Flamey. It's not going to happen. Astralis have won the Face It London Major.
Over the course of 2019, it became increasingly clear that if Na'Vi were to establish an era of their own, they would need more than star power.
Zeus and Simple with it all to do here. And not even the best can save them. It's a 1-on-5 for Zeus. And is this man ever going to win a major? The deep breath. He got one with Gambit, but will he get one with Na'Vi? That's what he's wanted. He went back for a reason, but Ents is going to deny. The Finns, the kings of Katowice, they're through.
Rosters like Astralis and their American imitators were reaching unprecedented heights off the back of sound team play. Soon, it became apparent that Simple and Electronic would need to step back, take the focus off of their own individual play, and put their faith into the full five. But first, they needed to find the right five. With Edward on the wane and Zeus finally taking his much-deserved retirement, it was on Na'Vi to usher in the CIS's newest generation of top-tier talent and teach them to perform on the world's biggest stages. Of course, that would take time.
20 seconds, NRG need not peek. He has to plant a bomb, let alone find these players. 15 seconds, he's on the window. Again, no one needs to peek. It only gets worse, and it's a 2-0 for NRG. They've taken the series versus Na'Vi.
But then 2020 rolled around, and something changed. With Blade coaching, Boomage coming into his own as an IGL, and their largely unknown prospect Perfecto showing tons of promise, Na'Vi began to click like never before. And sure enough, at IEM Katowice, it all came together.
This tournament so far, when FaZe have found the opening pick, they've only converted 33% of these rounds. We'll see if they can find this pistol victory. It's Nico that can't get a kill on Electronic as he gets his second. Now tucking himself in, coldzera will have to step up. Electronic is picking them off like it's no problem whatsoever. coldzera left towards long, and that's going to be it. That's going to be the ace for Electronic, stepping up piece by piece. Na'Vi are finding this 16th round no problem at all. Through the flames to 3 will retreat, 25 HP, call it done, and there it is, 16-5, a very convincing 2-0 there. The best looking Na'Vi I've ever seen against the world's #1 team there. They made them look average, they made them look foolish at times, and it's a team effort as well. This wasn't just a Simple show. Every single player on Na'Vi showed up here in the semi-final. 2 versus 2, and it's going to be Simple and Flamey, who just seem to be taking matters into their own hands. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Your champions are going to be Na'Vi. It's a 3-0 clean sweep here in the grand final. This is a legit team.
Victory unlike anything the Spodek has seen before. Nobody could touch them. They did it in the semi-finals, and they did it again in the grand finals. Your IEM Katowice 2020 champions, it's Na'Vi!
Unfortunately, shortly after Katowice, the onset of COVID-19 took the entirety of professional Counter-Strike online, and Na'Vi's rambunctious rise to the top was unexpectedly cut short. But it didn't matter. They'd finally hit the stride they'd long been chasing, and they knew it.
Well, I hope we're gonna be one of the best teams in the world, and people will call it.
Is this the Na'Vi era now?
Yeah.
And sure, the CIS Super Squad proceeded to fall into a bit of a slump, but Electronic understood that the hard part was over, that all he needed to do was bide his time and wait until things had settled down and CSGO was once again his for the taking, because soon enough, it will be. Soon enough, Electronic will stand at the top of the Counter-Strike world, not as an overshadowed sidekick, but a superstar in his own right.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring that notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages.